Hi, Zizaran here with another video for the upcoming Path of Exile flashback. And do make sure that you notice that I am doing a tunnels in the background, and that's actually pretty important for the video. But the flashback that we're coming up on is basically every zone will have three mods from like a selected pool. It should be pretty fun. It's a little bit watered down in my opinion. I wish it was a little less watered down, but there is heist in it. I think the only thing that I really dislike about the flashback is that the heists are going to be vanilla. Like there's nothing special inside of the heists. Like the flashback mods aren't active there, which is sad, particularly because it is going to be such an important thing for leveling in the flashback, especially on the Souls Alpha modes, but I believe even on the Trade League modes. And speaking of Trade League, I'm like 95% decided that I am going to play Trade League for this. But I wanted to open up by showing you guys a little XP per hour trick that I do have a separate video on as well, but I figured I'd throw it in here because in my opinion it is extremely important. So this works on both tunnels and repository, and the important thing is you need to do all the side rooms. It's even better XP on the Grand Heist because there are more side rooms. We need to have done at least one thing, like one of the chests in the side rooms. The small chests don't matter. And now that we're at the end here, and we can reset the XP as well, so we'll get like a fresh XP per hour counter. I don't even think I have a filter on. Oh, I have the Delve filter on. But the filter doesn't really matter for this. This is all about XP. And this is a really good sustained XP per hour method. Just take a little bit to set up, but obviously like you would be doing heists for currency and stuff anyway. Now you'll notice that there's a large amount of monsters in these rooms, and that is how we're going to get the XP. You can even see my XP bar move, and I am level 96 because this is at 83 tunnels, and we get so much XP here. So now we're in like the setup stage where we still have to do like the doors and the traps on the way out, but we get to do multiple laps of this. So this at level 96 is 120 million XP per hour, and this is the slow part of the run. And then normally I would like, and you can have faster characters do this too. Champion Grand Slam is insanely strong for this, and the build I'm on right now is also one of the builds that I would recommend playing for this. Because of how well it handles the Grand Heist. A lot of people have already played this and will find it quite boring. But if you haven't played it, it is honestly a very fun build to play. I think most people would agree that it is a fun build to play. It's not very often that slam builds like this are strong in Path of Exile. They try really hard to make sure that melee is not good. But this one slipped right through and is extremely strong. So very fun. And as you can see, we're like basically sustaining over 160 mil XP per hour. This is obviously incredibly cheap. Now you can do somewhere like 2 to 3 runs to this before the XP per hour goes down. And if you're like doing this earlier, like say level 80, 85, you can get as much as like 1.5 billion XP per hour if you're doing this fast and efficiently. So yeah, it's actually like insanely well. Really good XP per hour, and obviously in hardcore this is super risky. I obviously don't roll them at all for doing this. I'll roll my grand heists, but I never roll my like normal heists. There's just no point. It doesn't really give me enough. I feel that it's actually worth it in hardcore because it makes it so much rippier. 180 almost, so really solid XP per hour. And obviously you can stay in here for a while. I will do a 4th run as well just to show, and we'll do a reset XP before that. We'll see if it like fully wipes it or not. But we finished with having had like 183 million XP per hour. So now we've done a reset, and we'll see what the 4th run is like. But either way, in the rest of this video, I'll talk a little bit about other builds that I think are going to be good for this as well. It'll mostly be very similar to the Mayhem builds I suggested, to be honest. The main difference here is that we have heist. So it's, if you have a build that's very strong at doing this, that is very good as well. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about builds. But yeah, and now we're already down to 120 mil per hour. So you see that there's some sort of like diminishing return that goes in here by the 4th run. is definitely noticeable. Still decent XP, but somewhere in this run, maybe halfway, it'll stop giving XP completely. Honestly, fourth run might be worth it. But I found that it isn't always worth it. I normally leave after 3. This doesn't require much maps. If you're in Tralee, you can just buy a bunch of tunnels and repository. Fifth run is never worth doing. You saw that we were already slowing down there. So just wanted to explain that again because it is so important if you are pushing for a demi or just pushing high levels in this. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the builds that I'd be recommending. And again, like I said, be very similar to Mayhem. It's very much the same style of race, but if something can do heist better, then that helps a lot as well. So for Assassin, the Ass Blast that I played in the Gauntlet, or doing it as Blade Vortex, but more importantly, either Assassin with Blade Vortex, Blade Blast, and then double obliterations, and you can also do like Plague Bearer, is insanely strong, really fun. It's actually very high up, and I might be starting as that and then switching. I'm playing Tradely, and I'm thinking either Deadeye or Assassin Kinetic Blast. I could do like Power Siphon Kinetic Blast with instacking if I go Tradely, and that is insanely fun. Very expensive, but insanely fun. So I'll think about doing that, and then I'll probably start out by doing like an Assassin Blade Blast to just blast early. I haven't fully decided what I'm doing yet. Trickster, Essence Drain, insanely strong, really good for every league. And we saw it in the Mayhem as well, just really good. It's a very obvious choice if you want to like go hard for levels. It's fun to play if you haven't played it before. But obviously quite a lot of us have already played a lot of Essence Drain and you might already be bored of this build. Saboteur, both lightning traps and arc icicle mines as well. Very strong, pretty fun to play. I usually don't play saboteurs myself, so I don't really have any like footage of that in action, I think, but definitely a great strong build if you do like traps. For the duelist ascendancies as well, again, champion Cold Steel, or sorry, just like Ground Slam Cold Steel, so insanely strong. I think that's part of why I'm not a huge fan of heist being so much stronger at XP per hour than the rest of the content. But for this race, we do have that. We can do a lot of spamming heist. So that is neat. We haven't had that many races like that. So, and we probably won't have that in the future. Gladiator obviously can do like bleed things. You can do bleed bow, or bleed weapons, like, melee. Easier to do the bleed stuff in Trade League than Soul Self-On, but it is viable in Soul Self-On as well. Berserker in Trade League, there's a lot of cool spell builds you can do there with the alternative Berserk that gives like spell damage, and that's really cool. But Call of Steel exists. The problem with Call of Steel and why I'm recommending it so much too is it's so cheap and easy to do. You don't really need a good weapon because you don't need high attack speed. So it's very easy to get a high damage weapon, which does make a lot of these recommendations kind of boring. But I'm mostly trying to recommend what I think is strong, not necessarily just like, hey, here are some quirky, fun builds. We're not trying to be creative. We're trying to help you win. So hopefully that's appreciated. But yeah, for both Jug and Berserker, I'd recommend Call of Steel. For Chieftain, Bladefall, really good. Blade Vortex, really good. That's what I did in Delve. And also Armageddon Brand is really good. So very strong there. For all the Ranger Ascendancies, I'd probably once again recommend Caustic Arrow. Especially in Trade League, Raider could be pretty decent, and so could Pathfinder. Could be pretty decent going melee and Call of Steel. Because of the stuff I showed with Heist, any Ascendancy, like even like things like Guardian or Inquisitor could probably pull this off, but anything that can pull off Call of Steel might actually just be really good with that because you can get such an insane amount of XP per hour, like I showed you, and it is a very competitive way, especially in Trade League, but also in Soul Self-Found. Other than that, Caustic Arrow is also good. Both Caustic Arrow and Toxic Rain is good for all of these 3 ascendancies. And for something like Deadeye, I'd also consider like Kinetic Blast or Power Siphon if you are Trade League. So Hierophant, Armor Brand is very strong here. Ball Lightning is pretty fun too, to be honest, because you can get so much AoE if you build it that way. I like that build with an Impulsa, but it's hard to get enough damage, but it's very fast for clearing. But then you have like, I don't even like killing map bosses on that. Inquisitor, Bladefall and Blade Vortex, insanely strong. Ball Lightning is really good. I've heard Cold Dot is really good. So there's like a lot of options there. On Guardian, I've seen someone did Call of Steel. I can't remember who that was, but yeah, you can do that. And down blow is fairly quick. A little bit of like tedium around like making the down blow monsters that start them up, but yeah, and armor band could work there too. For the Witch Ascendancies, Elementalist Blade Vortex is very strong, and you can like build around golems, especially on Trade League. Like carrying golems very strong, and a lot of fun to play as well. And I think we are going to see carrying golems nerfed. Necro, you can do operatives so fast. You literally just run through everything. Very very strong. You can do golems here too. You can do specters. You can do skeletons. And Occultist, which I at some point called the bad ascendancy. It's honestly not that bad. I'm just not a big fan of it, and I feel for a lot of the builds that I want to do for Occultist, it doesn't have like 4 ascendancy points for a lot of things I want to do with it. But it is decent, especially on Cold Dot. So a lot of people like Cold Dot or BV on that, and that's pretty good. On Scion, you have so many options. Honestly, Call of Steel probably is your best bet here, but Syndicate Operatives are insanely powerful as well. Now, do remember that there are, like, out of all the mods displayed, there will always be 3 active in any zone. That means that the Delirium Mirror is going to be the main thing you're going to chase for density. Beyond is really good as well, and so is, like, Harbinger's not too bad, but probably not, like, very exciting. Remember, for example, if Nemesis is active as a mod in the zone, that does not mean you can drop or chance a Headhunter. Same with if you roll it on a map. They do have the ability to enable that, and, like, Arena and the Chinese client have done that in the before. That is very fun. I wish they would do that because even though like Nemesis isn't that an exciting mod, right? Like you get 2 or 3 extra rares. They would have made that mod exciting by having it be cross league. So I feel like right now the only exciting mods is the Legion Monolith, Delirium Mirror, and Beyond. So that is a little bit annoying. Like Anarchy and stuff, it's 2 extra exiles. That's what you get. Poggers. So they could have made those exciting by just have the cross the uniques drop. Without really affecting it too much. But yeah, and I think you can migrate in this one. I think you can migrate from SSF to Trade League. I'm not 100% sure. But I don't think you can change Ascendancy in this one either. But I know it's slightly different than Mayhem, I believe. Not 100% sure. We'll definitely be playing this for like a week or two. Probably more casual. My hands are still kind of fucked after Mayhem. I went like really hard on that and got rank 1 Assassin. I'll hopefully get another rank 1 here. I didn't get a rank 1 in Delve. And maybe that's a cool Christmas merch. So if you like that stuff, shop.zizaran.com. Other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing December. I know it's been a rough year for everybody, but I hope you guys have the best month of the year. I mean, it's shaping up to get better, right? So hope I didn't jinx it. Touch wood. But let's hope 2021 gets better. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. Sub if you like the content. Question mark. More content soon. Thanks for watching. Try to die less than I do.